Hold on. God damn it. That'd be a good start. Fucking microphone fell. I was doing a lesson earlier. My fucking microphone fell off. I got this piece of shit fucking mic stand, man. All right. Oh, man. Oh, that's a good intro. It's just nice. Whatever. Anyway. Hey everybody, welcome to Eclectic Soundtrax. We're here with Jon Simpson, aka can I say your alias, or is that super secret?
No, yeah, go for it.
No pressure. Well, also known as the Witch in the Witch Diaries. And now I think I saw something recently where you were resurrecting that. You guys were jamming again, or you guys recently did a jam, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, so we're getting back together. We've reached out to our bass player, but he's busy with other things in life, so he's not coming back. But we have a few people we're auditioning, and yeah, we're just excited. That was a really fun time in our lives, so we're happy to bring it back now and start having fun again. Right now, of course, we're going to be rehearsing and getting our stuff together. Then once we're allowed to go and have shows again, we'll be ready. So been writing new music and stuff like that.
Awesome. Yeah. And that band is you, your girlfriend, Rachel, who plays in what is some projects she has? Is she playing in some other bands right now still?
Yeah. Pretty's For You is her Alice Cooper cover band. Mm-hmm. She was playing in Princess of Darkness and then a few other like cover band type projects.
Is that an Aussie thing?
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds awesome. Yeah. I hadn't seen that. I've seen the Alice Cooper one.
Man, that was way back in like 2011 or 12. So it's been a while since they did that. And since she played with a original band called Butch County, which is it's a group of really nice lesbians, minus Rachel. And she played with them for a few years. And so I went to a lot of gay festivals and stuff. And they played like the big Pride Festival in San Francisco. I didn't get to go to that one, but she showed me pictures and it was like 100,000 people or something. It looked like a really fun gig.
Wow. I had no idea. That's amazing. And you guys have been dating for quite a while, right?
Yeah. 12, almost 13 years coming up.
Oh, so that was but after her lesbian phase, even so she was actually dating you at that point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, she joined the lesbian band, but it didn't mean that she was, actually a lesbian. They wanted her as a lead guitar player.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like, and
I thought you made her switch teams.
No, with Pretty's For You, the Alice Cooper cover band, they do have one dude in there, even though it's all females. There's Ozzy, and he's always a funny guy. And it's four ladies and then Ozzy. So I guess sometimes you have to make exceptions with bands and let in a straight member or a male or a female or whatever the situation might call for.
Yeah, that's a lot of gray area nowadays anyway, right? I mean, you could just be like, oh, I'm this. Oh, okay. It's like that's the thing, right? If I wanted to join, could I just be like, well, I identify as a woman. You have to let me be in your band.
Right. Yeah, that's
I know I'm making light of a situation that's like really touchy and offensive to some people. Right. That's what I do. That's what I do.
that's what I was gonna say. It's like, yeah, you never know who you're gonna offend these days.
When we had honestly, I need to get the when I want to say the word dialogue, the nomenclature, what's the word I'm looking for? Correct in this situation. So if we have someone who identifies as non-binary or as female who's male, that you're not trans though, right? That doesn't I don't, Victor, you explain this to me, please.
Maybe. Yes. I don't know.
So I don't know. I honestly don't know. That's probably something we should find out.
I haven't gotten the updated handbook or literature, so
I'm curious as to how that would work. Honestly, I'm not being really serious right now because I actually have like some great friends that, and one we had on the podcast, John, who are biological, one identify as someone else, and I don't know the ins and I just found this out about another musician that I'd played with recently or have collaborated with. So I have a couple of people that are really good friends that are trans, for lack of a better word. If they're, I don't know, I don't know the proper way to say these things. I'm not trying to be funny, but right. Yeah. And I mean, I think what was really cool. I mean, you remember Espinoza, right? I always call Espinoza, Michael Espinoza, who is now Zoe Espinoza, was one of the first guests we had on the podcast. And that was such an interesting conversation because Zoe is now a woman, right? So that was but super cool with it. We had a blast talking about stuff. And so
that's cool.
Anywho, I didn't mean to turn your podcast into a political, trans conversation.
We should probably switch to talking about how fat we are now.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
But John, what is it like to be a fat woman? Tell me.
Well, I do wear my muumuu at night. And yeah, like we were discussing a little earlier before we started this, I always hold my guitar in front of me during lessons, Zoom lessons, or in this case, a podcast, to hide my massive beer belly. So yeah, it's that's
why I'm wearing multiple shirts. I had the titties.
I'm just still impressed you're wearing pants.
Yeah, I mean, well, you saw because a little bit ago I stood up to adjust my lighting, which I'm, it's my Halloween lighting. But I'm wearing my pajama pants, my expandable pajama pants, and I've got several pairs of those. I got these. I got a pair of Bob Ross pajama pants.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, this is all I've been wearing since March when the world shut down, and I love it. I can't even fit in jeans anymore.
Wash them at least once, right?
Yeah, I have to wash them.
Okay.
And that's the cool thing. I'm able to kind of rotate through a few. So I have like 4 pairs of pajama and sweatpants that lasts me a good month or so. And then I do, laundry.
Yeah. And
back to Witch Diaries.
Yeah.
45 minutes later, Rachel, who was never a lesbian, who dates you. Congratulations on your 13-year tenure there. Rachel, I know I've known and worked with both you guys actually at some point in time, and both awesome guitar players and people. And you guys have played together in Witch Diaries, which has been, now you've got an album out, I think, that came out. It's been quite a while now. When did that come out?
For Witch Diaries or the solo album?
Well, tell us about both.
Okay. Witch Diaries, I think, let's see, that was like 2012, I want to say, when that came out. And pretty much the rundown of that whole band is that, I was writing some really weird music. I was really into Danny Elfman and that kind of thing then. And I wanted to be free to write whatever I wanted, but also protect my teaching career. So some of this stuff, my sister let me know. She heard it and she's like, this is pedophile music. That's what this is. And I was like, what?
Whoa, what?
I was like, yeah.
What?
I was like,
look, I met your sister. She seemed like a decent, rational person.
Right. So
where is this coming from? It doesn't even have lyrics, right? It doesn't even have lyrics.
Oh yeah, no. There's some lyrics in some of those songs, and they're pretty. Once I listened to it again from her point of view, I was like, I can see where she's coming from. So obviously the actual song she's talking about. I would never write a pedophile song or anything like that, and it never even crossed my mind that's what it was. But since it did happen, and she brought it to my attention, I was like, well, this moreover makes me want to cover my identity and do whatever I want to do. So, with a good Rodgering, we had already started kind of the running joke, the witch or whatever, and just wearing a mask. But that's one reason I kind of wanted to protect my identity, but thinking back on it, most people won't even care, that you write weird songs. But the other reason was I realized that, bands like Slipknot, Buckethead, all these other bands that they wear masks, music is very theatrical, or it can be. And I still at that point in time wanted to try to be somewhat commercially successful, to be able to go on tour and survive trying to do that. And at the time, I thought that was actually possible. So I was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and buy this expensive mask, and we'll give this a go as a band. It actually kind of worked. There were some videos we put out early on YouTube, and because I believe I was wearing that hideous mask, people were sharing it. So, like in a few days on one video, I got like 35,000 views or something. And I went on the internet or someone sent me a link to a forum, and all these guitar players were trying to guess who I was. And it was flattering because people they were guessing were like some of my heroes. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. And to your credit, I mean, you're a phenomenal guitar player. I know you're a very humble guy, which is so cool. And a lot of the guitarists that I know that are my favorite guitar players that I'm fortunate enough to also be are friends and cool people are phenomenal. I mean, you're right up there in the same league as a lot of the guys, the famous guitar players and some of the people that you and I both love as well, like Carter Arrington and guys like that, but yeah, I can totally see that, man. And it's really cool it's a great idea in that aspect. And especially in the kind of like guitar player community, which is spread all over the globe, but can be kind of tight knit in its own right, and all these people, we all have these like all these same little pocket of influences a lot of times. And for people to see something like that, it's eye catching immediately. And then you're doing amazing stuff. So people are just like, holy shit, wait, is this somebody we know doing some cool, weird thing? Like that's it's neat, man.
Well, thank you for the kind words, but I'm still learning, still trying to get better. But
well, you are. I mean, that's what I mean. That's what's so great, man. I mean, guys like you and Guy. I mean, you're so humble. But I mean, you went to. I mean, we've known each other for pushing 15 years. Maybe met in 2007 or something. I think
it was 2005, man. And it was the rock.
It wouldn't have been then. I bet it was 2006.
Yeah,
because that's when I joined Quarter Shackle. So maybe it was 2006 and we played Rockfest.
Yeah.
And or something like that. Anyway, and you were with Meyvn, and then Meyvn was on hiatus for a long time. And Meyvn has actually come back and played a handful of shows. And actually, I don't know if it was your last show or not. I think we played some pretty significant shows together, at least for the Austin metal, as far as Austin metal scene is concerned. Like we both played the Backroom, the original final Backroom show, but then the Backroom decided to have another final show, and I think Meyvn played that too.
That's correct.
So you played all of the final Backroom shows, and then you played we played obviously you played with the Good Rogering a few times, so we played some Rockfest together as the Witch.
Yeah.
But then I know what it was. It was a Powder Burns last EP release or something, and then they've been gone as far as I know for almost 10 years now. But that was us. That was one of the first Meyvn comeback shows in 2011, 12 maybe. And that was a Good Rogering, Meyvn, and Powder Burn, right? At Dirty Dog. Remember that one?
I remember that. Yeah, it was a good show.
And then recently we played RuneScarred played our CD release show with you guys.
Yep, kick butt.
Yeah. And so actually with Meyvn, you have I know I'm forgetting someone's name. Rick, who's the singer? Rick is the singer.
Yeah.
The other guitar player.
Drew.
Yeah. Rick, Drew, and then Ruben on drums.
And Ken on bass.
Yeah, and Ken on bass. And Ken has like 7,000 bands. Tool tribute, Alice in Chains tribute, Ariel. Great musician.
Very busy.
Very busy guy. And then but Ruben plays with you in Witch Diaries as well, right? He's the drummer for Witch Diaries.
That's correct. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, cool, man. So Meyvn still here and there pop out and do a show, maybe. I mean, obviously things are super weird right now with the pandemic, but you guys were playing some here and there. I think I may have even asked you about Skunk Fest. I don't remember because that's been such a fiasco now, obviously this year. And then Witch Diaries jamming. So yeah, when's the last time you actually played a show?
It was actually the Kick Butt Coffee gig because I think that was
it's February. Yeah.
it was February 21st or somewhere in there. I think for
That's
your
right.
CD
Okay.
release, and yeah, that was it was fun. And what was it? 3 weeks later, everything shut down. So that was the last show I've played. Of course, I don't really play live much anymore, honestly. For quite a while, Rachel and I were actually after which part of the reason we shut down in Witch Diaries, I'll just tell you that, is a financial reason. So I had finished my degree at Texas State. I had a lot of student debt. I was still teaching a lot, but I still needed to make more money. And we all know how rock and metal is trying to make money playing that, even though it's so fun. I love it to death. But I was like, well, I have all this debt. I can't keep paying to rent space and go pay to park and never make any money. So we were like, well, we'll just go on hiatus. And Rachel and I started playing more weddings and breweries and stuff like that. Did a little jazz duo. And, we did that for quite a while. And then now, since I'm welding and stuff, I have other income. So now I can play what I want to play again, which is awesome.
Classic musician story, man. And I remember this talking with you about this years ago because, this was before I even revamped AGR with a new lineup in 2000, late 15, 2000, came back out in 2016. And we were on about a 3.5 year hiatus. And so the last time we had played, one of the last shows we probably did was with that Meyvn show in 2011 or 12 or whatever. We had played a few shows into 2012. Same thing, but I was like gung ho, like, dude, you want to like be in the band? You're like, yeah, I can't.
Yeah,
I can't just keep doing shit and not making money. Totally understand. And so I had kind of not done that for years, and then I got really back into it. And then it's the same thing. It's so hard to actually make an income with your own music when you're running the show, paying other people, paying for studio. All this bullshit. And a lot of us now, you have your own studio. So many people in the modern landscape, especially when you're kind of an independent artist in this type of genre, not a pop. There's the pop icon world that'll probably never change, but in terms of independent bands in the rock world and metal and that kind of, it's more niche and it's more, you kind of have to learn to be a jack of all trades and kind of a Renaissance man. A lot of guys have their own studios and setups now, and you naturally gravitate towards that and learn that. So that at least probably helps offset some cost. But then your band and this and that, and it's very difficult to not. I think a lot of us, you get to a point where like, hey, if I can at least not lose money on this and just have fun doing it, that's cool. But when you're going in the red, it's definitely difficult. And if that's your income and you don't have a day job, it gets really tough. So I remember you doing that and being a few times like, yeah, I'm done with guitar. And everyone's like, no, what the fuck? No, no more for me. And I'm into welding now. But then I think, then you do that. And then you start going, well, now I got the bug again. I want to play. But since you have income, and I think for you, what it was you were teaching so much, it just burns you out. And I've had that too. And like, I've got a nice balance going, but where you kind of just, with the old Strum days and just sort of like working all the time teaching. And you're just like, man, you don't feel like, you just get burned out. It's like all you do, and then you're just like, I got to do something else so that music becomes a fun, not hot, hobby, what it originally was,
Yeah, totally. I remember for me, when I realized I needed to do something else with my life was, of course, every fall you have your great students, the ones you want to keep forever, and then you have 75%, I guess, for me is usually like the soccer moms that push their kids off for guitar lessons, and they're like, well, we got
Milkman's coming over today, you need to go to guitar lessons.
Yeah. Right. So I think that kind of wore on me over the years with like, hey, we can't do guitar now because football started, or hey, we don't take this as serious as you do because now, they wouldn't say that, of course, but it's like all these sports and stuff always take precedence over music lessons. And to me, music, since I was a little kid, is like the coolest thing in the world. And I still think it's the coolest thing in the world. So, and I get that, everyone's different.
Well, everyone is different. It's the diamonds in the rough that make it worthwhile. I mean, I may go through, have 100 students, over the course of whatever, and 5 of those stick around, and I've had them for years, and I know their families, and then I end up, and it just, you're a mentor, your friends, you see them grow as a musician. They become, somehow a musician in some capacity in their own right. And like that, in that aspect of it is so amazing, and all the other stuff is like, it's a day job, and you're you're teaching, but you do get to a point where I've always been this way, and fortunately don't have to deal with this really anymore, but been there. And I know you were there when I subbed for you one time, and you're like, oh God, I want to put a gun in my mouth, where it's just like kid after kid after kid of like, I didn't practice because like I didn't have time, but like, and then I had like Nintendo games for 15 hours a day. And you're just like, yeah, play the G chord again. And what story are we on? Is that window open? And it's just like, it's part of the deal. I get it, but I've never like, some people good with kids and they love that, and that's cool. And I'm not saying that, about all kids, because I've had like so many kids that have started relatively young and now are teenagers or in their 20s or whatever that are, again, colleagues in that sense. I consider them musical colleagues, but it's like, it's not everyone, and it's not for everyone. It's like anything, you got to find your path. And so the one aspect of teaching that is really wonderful, though, is when you do find those and cultivate that and see someone shine as a musician, just like someone may have with us at one point in time or whatever, So that's really cool. Dude, go back to where you were talking about, we'll talk about maybe some of the schools you taught at. Now you do your own thing. What's your recording studio / school called?
Oakshed Studios.
Oakshed Studios, right out in Dripping Springs, cool place, right? And it's but you said you went to Texas State and you had got like a jazz. What's your degree in that? And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I went to ACC first. I'd go and quit, and I did most of the music theory classes there, and a lot of other core classes. And I had invested so much time and money into that. I was like, well, maybe I should go ahead and finish. And also, we were teaching at Strum, and I was like, man, I want to go back to school, go get a bachelor's and a master's, so these kids that don't practice, I can fail them.
Yeah, so I can teach real musicians.
Right. And so anyway, I tried to get in Texas State, made it in, and I did I guess it's a performance degree in jazz guitar. It's a bachelor's degree there. And I'm glad I did it. It was expensive, but I'm glad I did it. I had a good time and I learned a lot, and it definitely changed my playing. And also they had really good staff, and the amount of transcription we had to do is what really helped me change as a player. Because I listened back to some of the old Meyvn stuff and my passion was still there, but it was all technique. Like that's all I did is practice technique. So I had rhythm issues and all kinds of issues, and I still do, but at least I know I'm aware of them and I'm working on them. So Texas State was it was a good thing, but getting out, not much changed, I have to say. And I warn my students about that if they decide to go to college for music, is when you get out, it's the piece of paper doesn't help you as much as, say, if you did nursing or some other like field of study. So you're kind of still on your own. You meet a lot of people. So like if you went to Berkeley, one of my students he just quit, last fall or spring because he's going to Berkeley now. I was like, man, if you're really going to go through this, the number one thing you need to do is network, because you can now with the internet, you can learn a lot of stuff. But you really need to network and make your connections if you want to survive in commercial music.
Well, that's the thing, and that's the difference nowadays. It's still not, I don't think, necessarily any easier. I mean, there's a whole possibility of going viral, but that's extremely slim, But I mean, once upon a time when I started playing, you started playing, even like that wasn't really a thing or an option. The social media and the means of networking now. So nowadays, for a young musician who's really serious about it, I think any musician, I think that's changed significantly. Kind of like having your own recording studio and doing that. It's one thing you used to get money from a record label. You go into a big studio. You're the band, right? You're either kind of on a local level or you're going to get signed and go to the next level, right? I don't know how much in between. There was DIY tours and all, but now it's like there's this whole vast network of you can make a living and work with people all over the world and but you have to have hustle in a business sense. It's a much different landscape. It's not just about playing guitar. I mean, sadly, like that's the last thing I do anymore. Right. It's all this other shit that I do kind of as a working musician,
Oh, totally.
So I'm glad that I did some practicing at least when I was younger, but back to you, I never did what, you have those technical chops that I'll just never have at this point. You don't just go like, I'm 40 and now I'm going to buckle down and practice for 12 hours a day. It just doesn't work that way. So having that on the front end and then kind of getting to a place where you go back and like then go into the jazz world, which I've dipped my toe in that pond too. And that's a whole nother universe, as we know. That opens up a whole nother aspect of music. And there's all these different doors, and they're all connected, but you just keep opening up this universe of music is what's so cool. And I think guys like you that have that, you've got the best of both. You've got all that knowledge and the theory and all that. And like you said, transcribing music and doing all that technical stuff, which doesn't even necessarily require an instrument in your hand, but also putting from passion. The only way you can do this is from absolute passion. When you were younger, like just playing, and developing that technical aspect of things. So that's kind of always somewhat in your back pocket, at least, to a degree. And then you really have, as you're a full package musician in that sense, man.
I mean, you are the full package musician. Not to blow smoke up your ass, but like you have dipped your toes into beyond what I've done. Like,
well, that's what I'm the guy that is like, I do everything half-ass.
No, you don't, dude. You always say that, man, but you're like, I'm not a technical player. It's like you and Guy are technical.
I don't know. A Guy is so far beyond. I don't want to turn this into watch these two guys suck each other's dicks for 45 minutes. So
right.
I guess we should move on. But no, I mean, what is so cool to me, and I mean, it's cool. Like that's what's so awesome about being part of a musical community is I think we all have that thought sometimes where we're playing, we're in a room full, you can be in a room full of people going like, wow, Jesus Christ, like everyone in this room is amazing, but yet you're in that room and it's you're always, I think, kind of feeding each other in that way. And it's so cool. And I'm just super thankful about it. Even if I don't make a dime with music and, God knows there's so much frustration to be had in the business sense and feeling like nobody gives a fuck about your shit. Nobody buys anything and nobody listens to anything. And how we all know we all suffer from this depression, but at least you're like, well, fuck, man, I actually know a lot of good people and I've met a ton of people and I know a lot of great musicians who are cool people. So, there's that aspect of things that are actually really, really cool. And just to be involved, so back to Witch Diaries, you had, Carter and myself and Drew and Ray, another friend of yours who you had all of us play on a song to do. And maybe Rachel was on there too. We all did guest solos. And, but you also played with Ray when you said you were playing some stuff with Rachel in the jazz, more wedding bar stuff or event type friendly music. You had something called the Fat Sombreros for a while, but then you guys changed the name. Were you doing some like flamenco kind of jazzy? Tell us about that for a minute. What was that?
We were trying to hit up more Mexican restaurants and Latin bars and stuff like that. So we changed the name from Fat Sombreros to Segunda Luna to try to sound more professional. But the Fat Sombreros, we'll be honest, it was cooler and we had the big hats and stuff. Yeah,
Fat PAT, right?
So it's basically two drunk metalheads playing on nylons. That's basically what that band was.
So you were Rodrigo y Gabriela. It's just like neither one of you is really sexy is basically what
we were fat and drunk.
Rodrigo and Gabriela were just local fat badass. Yeah.
Right.
So no, we
had fun though. I do miss Ray. We live so far away from each other now that I see him every now and then because I work for his contracting company and now we're doing welding stuff. But we haven't jammed together in a long time, so it'd be fun to get together with him. And he's a great player.
I remember some. It was awesome. It was great. Just so cool to be on that track of yours. So thanks for having me because that was. You're amongst these great players, and I'll talk about that briefly because it's kind of funny. But Ray, you used to host. You still used to call it called the Witch Hunts out at your land. And I think I've only made it out to one of those. And there is nothing better than seeing this man get drunk. Wow, when he gets drunk, and he laughs like a psychotic serial killer, and it's beautiful. And I think you fell in your fire one time. But anyway, but so I had kind of done some, and then you used to have these at your house when you were here in town, or maybe that was your sister's place you were living for a while. and we had a few things over there in Ray, and I don't know if there was ever one with Drew over there, but I remember a few different times of that. And yeah, he's got some really cool jazz fusion influences. I learned a couple of cool things off him, a lot of interesting odd meter sequence stuff. But I see him posting videos here and there still on Facebook, and I know he's got a kid now and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, and it's cool that you kind of at least are able to keep up with people online. At least us musicians are like, cool lick, bro.
yeah, totally. No,
oh my God, someone liked my post. Oh, it's Skunk. All right.
I've seen plenty of musicians that get to our age group, at this point, and they just totally give it up, which is sad, and I get it also. But Ray, he keeps playing, and I love that because he is busy with his job, and he's got a kid and a wife and everything, and he's still at it, and he's still really passionate about it. So you have to admire that.
Yeah, well, I think that's a thing that a lot of people, when you have, I'm just lucky, I mean, to be able to do it in any capacity, and still sometimes I get really unmotivated and I don't feel like it, but I think sometimes being amongst students and projects keeps me motivated. Like I just had to learn a bunch of Broadway stuff for a student, and I was like, Jesus Christ, kill me. Like, it was hard, but it was also like, man, it was like, I might as well be in fucking jazz school right now, So it's constantly, doing that. And then that it kind of inspires you, and that leads somewhere else. So, and just having a network of musicians kind of keeps me inspired. But I know it's good to see, man. It kind of sucks. It's kind of a bummer when there's a lot of people. When you're young, you might be in a high school band or kind of dig it, but then you're like, it's not really your thing, right? But there are people that are just like, that's like when someone like you is like, I'm done. I'm like, everyone's just like, what? Because like, that's crazy. Like, that's your life. It's like a big part of your identity. Same with someone like Ray. Like, even if you're not doing it professionally, and even if you're not doing it all the time or even playing gigs, just to still be playing because it feeds your soul, just like it did the guitar the first time, like, I think it's great, man. Thank goodness. And it's cool that at least anyone nowadays can at least do that and still throw something out there and like, yeah, here's me jamming on something for what it's worth, why not?
Yeah. But it is cool also. I mean, this as a teacher, when you're able to hear even famous guitar players, you listen to their playing and you're like, oh, I know that person is inspired by this person, this person, this person. And on that Witch Diaries track that you guys all played on, all the solos are so different, but it's you, you can hear Ray, and it's Ray, and you hear his influences, and then same with you and Carter and Drew. It's a night and day difference between the solos, and it's everyone has their own touch, I guess, of the melting pot of the musician they've become. So hopefully we'll do something like that again.
Yeah, and on the flip side of that coin, I was going to say earlier about, or when I mentioned a minute ago about doing that track, what was fun about that was I don't do this too often. Like, sometimes it's good to just get in a really inspirational zone, but my brain is not. I don't tend to be one of those guys that can go play a gig or be in a studio if I'm stoned. I just don't work well. Like, I'm too retarded and I'm out way too outer space. Like, if I was doing like a jam band gig, blues gig where it was nothing but the same 1-4-5, I think I could get stoned and have fun and that'd be fine. But anything that requires remembering changes and stuff, man, bad idea. I remember doing one quarter shackle gig blown in San Marcos, and it was a fucking I was like, let's jam, and we just started out jamming and shit, and then we had to start playing the songs, and I was just like, but for that song, man, for the Witch Diaries song, I ended up getting stoned as fuck, and that's where I came up with that solo. And I didn't play it stoned when I came out there and recorded it, but like, I was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna like see what happens. But
that's a really cool solo, especially the harmony.
Yeah, I did the little. What was cool was I did that, and then there's a video. You filmed it, and that video is on YouTube or something. And I kind of kept playing into the next part, so it's not actually on the track, but like that was kind of just improvising the next part. And Carter's solo was after me, and I remember Carter being like, "Oh yeah, it's, cool solo. Did you just come up with that?" And I'm like, "No." like made it up the day before. I'm kind of like that. Like, I don't mind improvising. Like. And sometimes, like, if things are being written and created on the spot and I come up with something cool, like I probably did this for maybe half the Quarter Shackle album, and not as much on AGR solos, but sometimes something just comes out and you're like, man, that's it. And I go back and figure out my solo, and that's what I use. But other times I meticulously will sit there and kind of create it, and get
Sure.
put ideas together. And I mean, I just did this solo for something a few weeks back that was like a cover song that was going to be released with someone at some point. And man, I hadn't played at all for a while, because I've been playing a ton of piano for projects, but not much guitar. And I mean, it had been the first time since I really played. And I was a real bendy solo, lots of over and over. And you know how it is. I'd halfway through this thing, I was like, okay, I got to start practicing with some slides instead of bends, because my fingers are getting shredded right now. But yeah, man. But I mean, you're pretty much like that too, right? You write, or you tend to improvise much? Obviously, you improvise when you're playing jazz and stuff. But in terms of stuff you've recorded, is it more written or?
Yeah, I think for metal, I actually enjoy just sitting on the porch or going into my dead room on the other side of this computer monitor, plugging into a really nice amp that has really good tone. And for me, a lot of inspiration comes from the tone that I have, that I'm playing through. So if I just plugged into, a little piece of crap amp, usually nothing happens, nothing creative comes through. But if I'm in the zone and the tone is good and it feels good, then cool stuff usually happens. And I'm not thinking about theory at all. That's all subconscious, I know how that is. And it's actually, whatever happens is just pure heart or soul. It's not theoretical based. Now, every now and then, if I get stuck, sure, I'll use theory to say, what other options could I do here, as you're trying to progress a song or structure a song. But that's kind of my approach. So as I've gotten older though, and drink more beer, I have to be recording while I'm playing. Otherwise I'll forget.
Yeah, that's it. It's a combination of trying to capture that magic in the moment. Sometimes to me, it's again, I don't really do this very often, but once in a blue moon, I'll get stoned and I just get super inspired, but I'm too retarded to do anything. And I'll get on the piano and I'll feel like I'm a great jazz player, and I'll record a bunch and I listen to it. I'm like, Jesus Christ. But every now and then, you might have something you're like, well, okay, well, there was something cool. You might have you get in the zone in little moments, but what was funny was when, and I want to talk about this for a minute. You did some guest solos on AGR's Lifeblood album. Yeah, I think you were on 3 tracks on that album, actually. And but when I was writing solos for that album, see, we had played a lot of shows, and I was lazy. I just improvised the fucking bullshit pentatonic solo, and get some nights to get a little lucky. And so I was like, you know what? I really want to create good solos for this. And so I feel pretty proud of the solos on that album for the most part. I think 1 or 2 were improvised. I mean, there's a different story behind every solo on that album. I don't need to bore a listener with, but I remember this one solo when I was I really wanted to do this Lydian Satriani thing, and my brother was just quit trying to be Joe Satriani. It's ridiculous. Just play that. Yeah. And so we'd be like, fuck you. This is my how my brother and I worked. We're like, fuck you. But then the end result would end up being better, because it was you got to go I know what my licks and comfort zone are, and I know there's a time and a place, but also it's just because I can do this 16th note triplet Zakk Wylde ripoff, doesn't mean I should put it in every solo. Try to pick your moments. And so for me, constructing solos, it can be challenging, but it's kind of fun, and it's super rewarding when you feel you get a right balance between something melodic and something where you're kind of doing the right amount of flash and all that. But where your solos, so you did the solo for one of our most worldwide famous tracks, Caveman Angry, now streaming on the Disney Channel. Was that did you was that improvised, or how did you do that, man?
Nah, I was stealing licks from this guy named Skunk.
Well, I did have the idea hey, kind of start with this, but then you did that. You've had such an awesome ending on that solo, which I'm incapable of playing. So
that was a straight up Paul Gilbert ripoff.
Yeah, exactly. No wonder I can't play it. Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, most of that was you, man. You were like, hey, here's kind of some ideas I had, and I was like, yeah, this is really cool. And I'm gonna bridge away from that for a second. The fact that you play piano so proficiently as well, I really admire. The Lagrange thing you guys did recently, that was so fresh and so cool. I've watched it 5 times, I think, because it's so unusual, but it's still neat. So from you as a guitar player perspective, you have all these piano knowledge, and I don't have that. So any guitar player that has a different instrument that they follow or that they play or they transcribe from, for example, Guthrie Govan, he's always like, I heard he's transcribing like horn lines and stuff. That's why he sounds different.
Interesting.
So I hear that in your playing. So that Caveman Angry thing was really your solo, and I just did some technical stuff at the very end, just a Paul Gilbert ripoff. That's pretty much all it was.
Well, I don't think you give yourself enough credit, but okay, we'll go to another solo, but I want to come back. We're going to do that. But now that you mentioned LaGrange, so we're talking about the Invincible Czars who have started doing some like a cover series basically. And there's a Patreon page and things that we're doing. There's a lot of stuff going on with that band because it was very high touring band. And then since the pandemic, things have been switched up. So I've been playing keys with them. We just we're really about to release a full score for this horror film and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, we did that. And what I didn't write that arrangement. Like I can't take credit, but I love it because it's such a fucking wacky version, odd time signatures and all this crazy shit. And I think a big part of what I do with those guys and is to just go, what can I add to this texturally without, because there's no need to put anything really on it. It's funny you mentioned that song though, because Josh went note for noted the solo. That was a very true thing. Yeah, but I love, and that when I first heard it, they had the, what do you call it? The vocoder, vocal robot thing. And it sounded like Donald Duck at the first time. And I was like, I don't know, man. It was all I was like, we should put out an alternate Donald Duck version because it's really weird. But then I got used to that, and so it's a very strange arrangement. But I definitely think as a musician, you probably hear that and like, wow, cool,
Yeah. But the normal listener, I saw like some of the comments, and there was one guy he's like,
I love the rolls. I love it. Yeah. One guy was like, this is crap except for the drums, and I was like, I agree. They should have just played it the right way. Yeah. And then Chuck, the drummer, was just like, yeah, I'm he's like, I agree. I'm the drummer.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But you hear, people are scared of what they don't understand.
Right. And that's I think that's the fun of what the Czars, and obviously me with a good Rogering and kind of our eclectic, wacky sensibilities sometimes is like that. For me, I think I was a perfect fit in that outfit because that's what we do. Like, how can we make this weird, But yeah, thanks, man. We're actually doing we're tracking. We'll be done tracking by the time this airs. But the guys from Grupo Fantasmo, right? One of the dudes has a studio. His name is Beto something, I believe. I could be off here, and I know they're brown out, and there's a bunch of crossover with those dudes.
Yeah. One of those. One of the guitar players, right? Yeah. Beto.
Yeah, I think we're tracking at his place, and he actually threw some arrangement ideas our way with the latest tune we're doing, which is a Czarsified sort of bossa nova version of Christmas Time Is Here. That kind of I think that's the Charlie Brown thing. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's fucking badass, man. Like it's really cool. And same thing with the keys on that. I was like, I just kind of laid down some jazzy voicings, and then Josh was like, couple of so it's like literally like maybe 2 little licks sprinkled in it, just to try to give it a moment. But that's what I love is especially the instrumentation in that. Like everyone has those little moments, and it's so cool.
So you're saying you gave the keys some seasoning there, like some salt and pepper, right?
I learned a long time ago from Mr. Steve that from the Glaze that I was only the salt. I learned a good lesson back then. I was the salt and pepper. I was not the steak. And that's why, like in the Czars, like, when I was doing the interview, they were like, so you're not one of these fucking steak guys, are you? No, sir. No, sir. You just tell me you want salt or pepper or a little of both. Just let me know. I can handle the spices. But anyway, another song you did, John, was we traded. God, this was absurd. I spent like an entire night in the studio with Rob at Mesa, him, and my brother just listening and picking and trying to put this together for the song Melodic Intercourse, which is just a very kind of a No More Tears ripoff. The boo-doo-doom, boom, boo-doo-doom, the bass line. My brother jammed one time, and it was one of those things we just jammed. And honestly, that's all it was. And then I came up with a melody, And it really never, and I remember asking you this and you're like, nah, don't worry about it. Cause I was like, dude, do you want some songwriting credit on this? Which, by the way, if you would have said yes to that, you would have made absolutely no money by now. So
I haven't made any money anyway.
No, the worst thing I ever did is not getting that songwriting credit on that AGR song that no one ever listened to.
Yeah,
but so that song though, you came up with a key change idea, man. And you came up with a really nice little arpeggio line. So you really added some cool shit to that tune. And then when I started jamming it with the new lineup of what am I saying? No, I guess I don't know. Anyway, a measure of 6/4, just a couple little spicy things got thrown in my salt and pepper sensibilities, I guess. But you, me, and Guy Laverick, I had both you guys come in the studio, and all three of us just bullshitted a bunch of solos, like take after take after take.
I remember
and
that.
Mine were crap, and you and Guy had a lot of really cool stuff. And then I got really drunk, and Rob was like, quit thinking, and so I had some really weird things where I was literally like just fucking guitar and trying to like get out of my own head. And so the way that solo starts out is actually one of my favorite licks. It's just attitude for days kind of weird thing. And so I do like this kind of bluesy weird thing, and then Guy comes in with his, and then you come in like, and you were doing the little bend taps, right?
Oh yeah.
And all of us had like a different tone and a different style, but the ending of that track, the ending of Melodic Intercourse, when it gets heavy, and you and Guy all trade off solos on that, is just so fucking badass. It's a shame that nobody hears these things, because I feel like it's really worthy of it's got great playing on it.
Sure.
And then you also contributed to Silent Lantern, which you did we would always trade solos on that live, but then I did the whole big long solo of that. I actually pieced that together, I think, in the studio. But then at the end, you actually had a beautiful melody that you wrote on the ending chord changes of that, and you came in and played those. And you also played some clean tone stuff, because that's a song usually when you would get up on stage for AGR shows, you would play like not a whole set, but 3 or 4 songs.
Right.
And that was like kind of one of the big ones that you always did, which, by the way, the one that we did at the last Skunk Fest got mixed out at Rob's studio. It's on YouTube. And I think it's got like 15 views. And
that's unfortunate. We were Victor,
we were
talking about that.
We were chatting about that.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna put it out. I'm gonna release it as a live Silent Lantern. So that was cool.
Well, I mean, that video was cool because it sounded great. But then me and John were talking. I listened to it the other day in anticipation of this podcast, and I didn't realize like just all the different sounds that comes out of his guitar. I'm like, man, that is crazy. Oh my gosh.
Well, he puts a lot of jazz. Like when we play that live, you're doing a lot of little cool jazz voicings and stuff throughout the kind of verses and whatnot. And then with this all kind of rip roar solo on it, But I love that. That's a cool song. That never, like, for years it didn't get played. And even with the new lineup, that was the first and only time we've ever played that song since back in like 2000, whatever that rock fest was, right? The rock fest where we actually got to play for a pretty damn big crowd.
That was fun, man. That was downtown, and
2011, I think. Yeah,
I had the old mask then that would like
and it was didn't it rip?
So it like the eye holes would be over there, and I couldn't see anything, so I'd like try to headbang sideways to get the mask to roll back. Back to the front. But that reminds me of another time. Remember when you unmasked me to get
that was brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah,
we unmasked you only to reveal your real mask underneath the fake mask. Yeah.
I'll never forget this girl's face in the audience when that happened. She I know like this is a podcast, so people probably won't see the actual video, but she literally did like a double take, and then she put her hand over her mouth, and you could tell she's like, oh my God, this person is horrific. He looks so terrible.
I wonder if he's cute. Holy shit, it's an old man. Yeah, because dude, that mask that you got is fucking, I mean, it is a what do you call it when they mold it to your, what's that called?
Silicon based. It's a movie grade mask.
Yeah, total Hollywood. I mean, that is a legit, that thing looks real. When people see that, they're just like, you have to double take, because you're like, what the fuck? And that's what made it so cool, is if you casually walk into a bar and you hear like, and you guys like covered Orion and did like cool, you hear, oh man, wow, fucking band's rocking out some Metallica or some fucking sick metal, and you walk in and you expect to see the typical metal band lineup, and then you're just like, there's this fucking 90-year-old gnarly looking motherfucker on stage. You're like, what the fuck is it? It's very like captivating, man.
Yeah, it's I got a kick out of a few comments. People come up after a show and they'd be like, they'd stare at, I could see them like staring at me from like 10 feet away. And then when I look at them, they look away because it's like, you know, we're taught from a young age, don't stare at people. It's rude. So anyway, finally they come up and they'd be like, okay, I thought you were a burn victim. They're like, but I can see, you know,
I can see that's a mask now. So now it's okay to just say that.
So yeah, I got quite a few different comments. So it was fun, you know, through the years, and we're excited to do it again. Hopefully we'll get, although there's a few tears in the mask now. So I might have to get those touched up. We are trying to plan out, and I wanted to talk to you about this more in the future, Skunk. We're trying to plan out a comeback video, all theatrical, all fiction, made up just for fun. Why we were gone, what happened, and basically the witch is going to be murdered out in the woods, and then Rachel and Ruben and whoever the new bass player are, they're going to have to go on this quest to find them and resurrect the witch. So, you know, more theatrical stuff, and there'll be interviews and stuff. So it'd be cool to have you, you know, do something with that if you had time and you wanted to.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I would love to, man. I will do my Blair Witch Project character. I'll have a big snot bubble hanging out of my nose and I'll be all frightened.
Yeah, it'll be comical for sure. Like that's the main thing, is that we want to have fun with it. And
yeah, I like that too with a lot of the bands that we've played with and people that have been involved in it and as guests with AGR and whatnot. It's just like, I think a common thread a lot of times is like having that fun element with the music, and you can have really serious songs and serious videos, but also like having, it's just entertainment, you know? And so, yeah, man, that sounds awesome. I'm to let me know whenever I'm requested for anything regarding the resurrection of the witch.
For sure. It'll probably be one of those things where it might be a little offensive with whatever the end result is, but you know, like y'all's video, the metal, man, I absolutely love the artwork and just the animation and everything that went into that. It's like, it's one of my favorite videos now. There's a Buckethead one I really love, and I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's all animated, and it's like I forgot the name of the type of animation, but it's a scene of cascading through all these different areas of what looks like hell. And y'all's video on that kind of reminded me of that same style. And it's unfortunate, like I remember I shared it and like all my, you know, aunts and uncles, and I won't go into religious stuff or anything, but no one's like
well, the thing about that video was and actually we're going to have the guy that created that video, Eric Allen Livingston, is going to be on the podcast I think in November.
Nice.
But he's done videos for Dead Cross and Mr. Bungle's latest video and stuff like that. So yeah, obviously stoked to have him on here. And it was a fluke the way I ended up meeting him when I was out in San Francisco, and we talked and everything. And I was like, okay, man, you know what? I'm putting out this EP. I got the EP was already out. We'd already toured. But I was like, yeah, I want to make something really cool and really different, you know?
Yeah.
And then dude, it was just, he had a great vision and what he came up with. Like he sent us the original draft and we're like, fucking holy shit, this is awesome, dude. You know, gave a little bit of feedback and it was done. And so that whole thing that here's the irony, right? Is then I was like, okay, I'm finally what I had never done. I had never put money behind something, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna fucking put money behind this video on Facebook. I'm gonna advertise. Denied. They wouldn't advertise it. Like it was quoted. Google and Facebook both would not let you put money into advertising. One of them cited that it was shocking and offensive content, and the other one cited nudity. And I was like, what the fuck? and I didn't even notice this. And I'd watched the video several times. Like there's this guy on the thing and his like dick's hanging out. And it's a cartoon. It's animated. So there's an animated penis for 2 seconds. Denied my fucking video. God. So the one time I was like, dude, I'm going to and I really honestly feel like if I could have put several $100s behind that video, it could have gotten a little bit of traction and people would have started sharing it. It might not have gone like super viral, but I bet it could have at least gotten, 50 to 100,000 views or something. Right. But instead it just got buried and stuck because no one's ever seen it. And that kind of fucking sucks, but it is what it is. I mean, if I was like a famous fucking rapper, not, Grammy nominated rapper, I could They wouldn't give a fuck. It'd be like 18 dicks in that thing, and it'd be fucking getting advertised right now, man.
Man, I was just talking to one of my students about Cardi B. Someone sent me a Cardi B video.
Right, this chick's singing about her wet fucking pussy, and oh, that's totally fucking cool. Bravo, Grammy nominated artist, bravo. But this skunk fellow and his animated penis, by no, sir, yeah, fuck you, man.
No.
Don't get me. I'll stop. But, hey, thank you for the fucking compliment on the video that no one ever saw because we live in a society full of Nazis. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man. I loved it. I'm gonna watch it later tonight. I'm gonna have a beer after this, and I'll watch it again. I'll crank it up on these studio speakers.
Excellent, dude. Speaking of, I'm glad you said beer. You brew beer, right?
I do. I'm brewing tomorrow, actually, so it'll be fun.
The fact that, I got to come out there and we got to jam and drink some beer, man. I mean, I was dead sober, not drinking for a while, which was excellent. I needed to do it. It was wonderful. And now I usually, like, literally, I might have a beer here and there, and then I usually have one on the podcast, but I would love that, man. Maybe at one point I might have had one of your beers, but it has been a long time, probably since we've even seen each other. Well, I guess that show, but since we've hung out or jammed or done anything, has been ages. And to just hang out and have some beer, man. So what are you brewing? Do you do different kinds? Give us a little insight into that and what you do.
Well, I mean, I guess Rachel bought me a homebrew kit in 2011 where you get this syrup and you pour it in boiling water and then you throw the yeast in. They basically eat the syrup and it tastes terrible. So that's how most brewers start, and that's how I started. Then you move up to another level called mini mash, where you start using some grain but also some syrup. Tastes a little better. And then I think around 2015 or so, I started brewing all grain, and that's what all commercial breweries do. And it's a night and day difference in the quality and the taste of the beer. So I mainly like to brew German style Hefeweizens, Dunkelweizens, just stuff that Ray introduced me to in like 2005 or 6, because we go to the Ginger Man and he'd show me these amazing beers. I'm like, man, I'm used to drinking Natty Light. I've never had anything like this. So Ray is actually the reason. And then just being a broke musician, I was like, I have to have these $4 or $5 beers, but I can't afford them. I need to learn how to make them. So that's kind of where the inspiration came from. And I took a break for a while. And since COVID started, I've been brewing again. And tomorrow I'm brewing a Dunkelweizen for my buddy Sean's birthday. He's a local welder out here in Dripping Springs and super cool guy. And I've gotten him inspired to brew. So he's got all the tools and everything. So I'm going to his place tomorrow and I'm going to show him how to brew some Dunkelweizen.
That's awesome, man. I feel like that's something I might want to do at some point now, because I'm finally past. I mean, COVID for me, I was fortunate that it happened at a time and I'm like, okay, I'm done. Because for a long time I had the anxiety and I just could not stay inside. And I had to go. I wanted to, support so-and-so show and go to this show and go out and party and blah, all this dumb shit and wasted my 20s and all this. But like, I'm like, I like being at home. I just, I'll work here, do what I need to do. Maybe like do watch Bob Ross and get inspired and do a painting once every 6 months, whatever, cook. And like, so brewing some beer would just be kind of a fun, I think, activity for someone that wears a hat like this, like obviously.
Yeah, dude.
Stating my position in life, after I feed the birds.
Hey, as we get older, man, that kind of stuff is anything that's really relaxing, any activity. Like I'm really into mountain biking now.
You're doing, that's the thing I'm not doing and I need to start doing is physical activities. I went through my crazy bra gym phase for a couple of years and now I'm just in like fat Oreo eating, watching C-SPAN phase, and it's got to stop. I know I've got to get out of that.
But I'll let you know. I think next time I brew, if you wanted to stop by and watch or something, you're welcome to. There's a lot of middle school type science involved, which is fun. And then you get to try the end product. And if you buy in bulk, you buy all your grain, in huge bags and use pet food containers like I do, you could save a lot of money and get really high quality beer that you made. So
how much do you get out of like what do you tend to brew? Like how much beer does it yield?
So the typical homebrew level is 5-gallon batches or 10 gallons. So if I'm experimenting, I always do 5-gallon because I don't know if I'm going to like the experiment. And then for my set recipes, I usually do 10 gallons. And there was a time when I was teaching a lot in 2016, 17, where the parents would come out to the studio here And I had them all trained. Like they were like the soccer mom or whatever. She'd jump out of her car and she'd be like, please get me a beer. So like every parent, they knew they were going to get beer when they came here. So that's kind of one
It's
of
an
the
amazing
draws.
business model, actually. That's pretty fucking great. Little Johnny's in there doing his guitar lesson. They're just getting hammered outside.
Yeah, but it kind of
Notes.
became a job a little bit because then like every weekend it was nonstop brewing to keep up with the consumption of these parents.
Parents are like, hey, can we have guitar lessons every night of the week?
Yeah, pretty much. So, but it's a really fun hobby, and yeah, you can't let it take over your life because then you'll be just a straight up alcoholic, and that's no fun for anyone. So, if you do it here or there, and control yourself, it's a fun thing.
That is always the that's the trick when it comes to alcohol. Yeah, controlling oneself. When you brought up the Ginger, man, that's such a great place, and I hope that place is still open. I know they had relocated, and I've got many fond memories at that place, and they had such a great selection of beers. Vic, did we ever go there?
I want to say we went to the location that was on the old one right off of Guadalupe, not Guadalupe.
Which was by what was that place called, like Fado's or FADO?
Fado's.
An
Irish bar. Yeah,
I think it closed though. Unfortunately, I could be
Did
wrong.
they really?
I hope I'm wrong.
Well, that was the place that Robert Plant would hang out at.
Oh, was it?
Soccer games in the morning? Yeah, on weekends. I don't think we've been to the new, and I want to say they moved again, but I guess the newer location. I've been there once, but I don't think we've been there. Like I hung out there with a buddy that came to visit, one of my old military buddies. But yeah, I haven't been there in forever.
Yeah, I miss the old one. It was such a cool building and such a cool vibe. And I did go to the new one time with Rachel. I think we went to see Lamb of God at the whatever on
great
Williams.
show.
Oh no, those are over there maybe, or Music Hall, Austin Music Hall maybe.
No, it was the Moody. No, yeah, it was at the Moody Theater actually. So that was really cool. Yeah, the sound was fantastic. Wow. But we went there beforehand to the new Ginger Man, and it was cool, but it wasn't as cool as that old building with the tall ceilings and everything.
Yeah. The newer one, I guess it's a little more modernized, right? Yeah. But that old building was awesome. It was, it's an old building, so it had a lot of character to it. And then the back, the open patio in the back was pretty awesome. I don't know if the new one has one. I think it does, but
I think so. I think it does. Yeah.
I'll never forget. I'll tell this story. I hope I don't offend anyone, but in the beginning of this podcast, we were talking about trans/lesbian stuff, and I'll never forget that.
You've already offended somebody.
Yeah, Ray and I were in there, and we were drinking Dunkelweizen, and we came out one evening-ish. I guess I forgot what time it was, but we had a few beers, and we came out on the porch there. This is the old Ginger Man, and the gay parade was going on, and one of our close friends that we had no idea he was gay, he was holding the hand of this like 6'8" transvestite, and I was like, whoa, that's cool. I had no idea. And Ray's like, he had a few beers, and he's like, hey, I won't say the guy's name. He's like, hey, name, are you gay? ? And the guy looked at him like with this deer in headlights look, because he's been friends with him for years and just had no idea. So that was like one of those moments at the Ginger Man that I'll always remember, because the streets were totally normal when we went in. We come out 2 hours later, and the gay parade's going on, and Ray says that to the guy's name, and I was like, Ray, you shouldn't say that, but the guy, he was totally cool with it. He wasn't offended or anything. It was just a moment.
I think that happens sometimes though. You have knee-jerk reactions. You don't mean anything by it, but you'll see something and just like, oh, because if it's something hits you and you just sort of like go, oh, this, like, not offensively. Remember one time I was like talking to a girl, and I had met her, and we had kind of stayed in touch and everything. And then she was like, oh, da 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 da. And I just didn't think about it. And then she was like, oh yeah, I was going to Israel or just got back from Israel or something. I was like, oh, are you Jewish? And I was like, oh, it's not offensive, but I mean, it's a logical question. You're just like, oh, really? Because so sometimes, I mean, I think sometimes we talked about this, like people can choose to be offended if they want to, but you're not the person saying something's not necessarily intending to be derogatory. But that area too down there, which is 4th, Ginger Band was on 4th Street, and that's where the gay bars are down there. I mean, I know you and I ran into each other many times at those places. At the
gay bars?
The Oil Can Harry's and Rain.
Of course.
I just love the gay bars. Just have the best names. I mean, I'm sorry, and I refuse to apologize for laughing at a place called Oil Can Harry's because that's just funny,
It's pretty brilliant name.
Yeah. So I mean, props to the gay bars for their creativity.
There you go.
Oh man.
That's what we should all do is just go out and walk into a gay bar and just hang out. And then when someone comes up and starts hitting them, like, are you gay? I'm just here with my heterosexual friends drinking beers. I don't understand. Why are you hitting on me at Oil Can Harry's? So bizarre.
Oh man. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird, man, because sometimes nowadays, like I just heard someone the other night was like, so-and-so's, a woman. I'm like, oh, yeah. It's honestly, it's just, okay, whatever. I mean, I don't care either way, but I think you just, because you see people one way and maybe you think, oh, maybe someone's gay or straight. You don't think about it, but especially when you're transitioning into it and when it becomes identity stuff and transgenders and whatever, I don't know.
Right.
Why do I want to keep saying nomenclature like I'm reciting the Big Lebowski? There's a word I'm looking for here.
The Big Lebowski. That's awesome.
Anyway, whatever. Yeah. We'll just say trans for it's just like, okay. Like I feel like a lot of people though are probably like, you might be like, oh, I didn't know. And then after that, like initial reaction, like, okay, cool. So do you want to go over to John's and get some free beer?
Yeah. I mean, like one of my students told me that a family member of his, a niece, I guess, she was offended because she didn't tell him. I guess she had she switched sexes and now wants to be called a him. And so he said, something to the point that she was female. When they saw each other at a holiday and she got offended and he just didn't know, so it's like going back to what you're saying. Sometimes you just say things, you're not trying to be offensive, but it
and I really think that it comes down to both parties being understanding about something, especially if you have viewed someone who was biologically one way and you've called them a certain name or probably a certain pronoun for their entire life. And then all of a sudden it's very difficult. It has nothing to do with being intentionally derogatory. It's just a knee jerk and you're like, oh shit, sorry. Like it takes some time to adjust to that,
Yeah.
Like,
it's not intentional, right? Yeah.
It's not intentional, so I think
that the podcast we had with Zoe, right? When she was explaining, and she was really good about this, where she said, like, you've known me, 20 something odd years as this person. I don't expect you to, that's just ingrained. It's innate, right? So, she doesn't take offense to slip ups like that, right? I think most rational people can tell the difference between a slip up or just not thinking or just something that's just ingrained versus somebody who's intentionally trying to be a dick.
Right. Yeah. I think you have people like that are understanding and they go, hey, no worries. I mean, you'll get it. And we understand, and then other people who are just the face of that triggered bitch on social media that just want to get fucking mad at everybody for everything,
Man, yeah, those people are just mad at everything. They gripe about a free meal, right? Well, it's like you mentioned Lebowski. It's like the nihilist, right? Oh, must be exhausting being angry at everything.
Must be exhausting.
Well,
I just watched the Bill Burr Saturday Night Live monologue.
That was fantastic.
That was great. I love Bill Burr. I mean, he's right up there, like within the elite club of I don't give a fuck. I'll tell it how it is. Comedians that are famous and they're so good at what they do, they can get away with it. And we always talk about this, but one reason I just love comedians so much, I feel like they're one of the few people that can really carry a true voice, and people can be angry and laugh at the same time, and they can somehow say all the things that we can't say, but we all know, like, it's true, nobody's perfect. And so they just point out a lot of the funny hypocrisy and stuff, but it was really funny because it's like, you could feel the stuff he was saying was funny and people were laughing, but you could also almost feel people going like, oh, am I supposed to? Oh my God, I don't know if it's okay to laugh at this. And you could feel the cast members, right, and the staff of SNL like cringing, like, is this, you know what I mean? So I love that.
That was a great monologue.
It was really, really good. I mean, Bill Burr's really good at that, and like all these kind of guys are, this sort of pointing out our own. How up our own asses we tend to be, and how snobby and smug we can get with our shit. No, it's like, look, don't be a dick. Try to respect people and their choices and this and that. But also, when you're one of those people, just don't be breathing down everyone's neck and fucking yelling and screaming at every single person because they didn't know that you were going to wake up as a woman Tuesday, or that Thursday is now suddenly Black Lives Matter, even though yesterday they didn't. You know what I mean? Like, fuck you and your holy crusade, you trendy bitch. And now you say bitch is a universal bitch, not just
right.
Well, people got pissed at him for that too. Like the next day, people were griping about Bill Burr.
Of course, but it's got like 5 million. Yeah, Bill Burr is great, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, so. I guess that segues greatly into politics. So I hear you're Donald Trump supporter. I would never do that to anybody. The thing is like, I think like some people who are going to vote for Trump would just be like, oh, that guy. And then they'd go vote for Trump and never tell anybody. But then there's the other people that are like, yeah, Trump. You know what I mean? Like, I think whatever, to each their own. And if you want to be vocal about stuff, be vocal about it. But so I would never like put someone on the stand with politics. But we do segue into that. What a second ago when you started saying that Big Lebowski, I thought you were going to mention Dan, and we had him on the other day when he said that comment about someone said the supply or the demand for racism is greater than the supply. What was it, Victor?
I think so. I think you got it right. Yeah.
And basically saying like sometimes there's, things happen and then everyone's up in arms, and that's good. We should always strive for social justice and make sure we're keeping people accountable and all for the rights and civil liberties for everybody equal, all et cetera, et cetera. But sometimes people are just going apeshit over this and that, and all of a sudden everyone is who thinks that doesn't agree with some agenda of the moment is racist or this and that. It's like easy, just take a deep breath. Is everyone really racist right now? It's just back then. And guys like Bill Burr, who people actually pay attention to, say that stuff, and it's wonderful. God bless them. What else, John? Help.
Oh man, I was just thinking about the offensive thing and Cardi B and her music video, and I hadn't seen it until a few weeks ago. So I don't know if you saw this. I heard I don't know if it was a teenage boy or something. He told his preacher what WAP means, WAP, and he told them it was worship and prayer. Did you hear about this?
Oh no.
So this poor guy, this preacher, I don't know how old he was. Apparently he went to his Sunday sermon, and that's, they're trying to think of stuff to talk about every Sunday, and
right.
He's going to talk about how he needs some good WAP.
That's fucking brilliant. That is, was this the same preacher that just got busted on the? Did y'all hear that story about the guy that was having sex with some hired dominatrix chicks on the altar and filmed it?
Louisiana.
Okay. It was well, there you go.
Oh wow, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, wow, man, wow.
Oh man,
he was whapping all right, or whopping, whatever it is.
Yeah, what's the Hanson song? Is it doo wop or
doo wap?
Doo wap.
Little did we know all these years, all these years,
Hanson,
and we're like, look at these little fucking dorks, man. They're innocents, and they're fucking ballers singing about wet ass pussy. We had no idea.
But,
worship and prayer.
Oh man.
Makes me think, look, if you're going to do a song like that, then you need to be a fucking badass, like Prince in Pussy Control. That song's fucking awesome.
Yes.
You ever heard that song? Ladies and gentlemen, and boy, but he's like, what does he say? Like, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is your captain with no name speaking. I'm here to rock your world. It's just, pussy control. That's a fucking awesome song. It's funky as hell. But Prince can get away with that shit because Prince was a fucking badass. Cardi B is just an annoying fucking stripper who's now being fucking worshipped by people who are getting blowjobs from other people. I don't understand it. I mean, I say these things as an somewhat involved member of the Recording Academy, and it's embarrassing. I mean, it's fucking embarrassing.
How did she score an interview with with Biden? And then like some of her interview questions were like, what in the world is this?
Man, here's the thing. I don't like fucking Trump, but I don't like fuck you, man. If you're talking to Miss Wet Ass Pussy fucking stripper chick over here, and I'm supposed to like that. Really? This is the fuck you, man. Oh, it's so gross. I know it. Look at the angry racist old white guy. That's what I'd be labeled as. But come on, guys. Like, this is just fucking ridiculous. Like, that's the thing, right? They fucking pander to anybody. Oh, look at me. I like the black stripper chick, wet ass pussy. No, fuck you, Joe Biden, you little bitch pussy. Anything else to add to that, guys? Elk meat.
Elk meat. Have you tried DMT?
Oh, I'm wearing this as my bald head under here.
Oh man!
You ever listen to Joe Rogan, John? That's where my elk meat reference was from.
No, I haven't heard. I haven't heard any. I mean, only from the UFC fights. I used to watch that a long time ago.
Yeah. So, well, he's right down the road from you now, man.
Really?
Yeah, he lives out on the lake or some shit now.
Yeah, wow. Moved out a couple of weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, a lot of these Californians they went out the California way, and now they're coming back.
They heard they had internet over here.
Yeah. You don't need to go out to California to jerk off to Brazilian fart porn anymore. Okay, so speaking of Brazilian fart porn and speaking of whatever, nasty, gross, weird, offensive shit, Jon Simpson, ladies and gentlemen, I present you with Jon Simpson. Okay, I'm going to say something. I don't mean to embarrass you, John, but you've given me many hours of laughter, and I've told many people your stories because they're great. And I'm not going to ask you necessarily to share horrible, embarrassing stories, although you usually seem pretty willing. But there's just an observation I've made. Okay, and God knows Rob and I have them. We've talked about all our stories, but like you and Guy, like two of the greatest guitar players I've ever known, have just told me the most crazy, funny, horrible bodily function stories, whether they're about yourselves or someone else I've ever fucking heard in my life. And I'm just wondering if you would like to share anything with us here today. But no pressure. No pressure.
Let's see. Oh man. Let's see. I'm trying to think of how many which students I might offend that might listen to this.
Here's the good news. None of your students are going to listen to this. Nobody. This is where nobody's going to listen to this.
Put the witch mask back on.
Yeah. Just you should have done the whole interview as the witch. So, okay, here's what we'll do. We'll have you back as Witch Diaries toilet stories, and we'll just hey, people can't get offended from a story of a Actually, you know what? Before we go down that road, let's tell the Nam story though. When I have never simultaneously laughed so hard and been so close to vomiting all at the same time until I shared a hotel room with John. And John, I guess I'll let you take this one if you want.
Oh man, I just remember, we had some beers. You were doing something else. I was doing something else, and then I had a bunch of Mexican food, and I forgot what you ate, but it was bad, whatever you had. So
this isn't even where I was going with the story, but go ahead.
Okay, I'm curious to this other side of the story then. But I just remember, you were like, "Hey man, can I crash in your hotel room?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." I had my own hotel and. Or hotel room, I should say. I'm not that famous. So anyway, I had eaten that food, and I was like, man, my stomach's upset. And so I think I bought like a 12-pack of Newcastle, and I think we had some of those. They were in the sink on ice, and you slept in one bed, I slept in another, obviously, and that's when the gas started, and I'd hear you rip this like lawnmower sounding fart or something. I'm like, Jesus, dude. So I'd have to rip one, and then it became a competition.
Yeah, it's a manly thing. You got to assert dominance.
Little dueling banjos with some gas there.
Yeah.
before we knew it, like the whole room was just filled, and who knew?
We were playing scales out of our ass.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what was mine and what was yours, and I was just under the covers. We're trying to sleep too because we had to get up early, I think, and it was.
Well, you
was
did. I remember that you had to get up and fly out, and I just slept in and stank up the hotel even more, I guess. But I wasn't going there with that story. Thanks for sharing. I mean, flying is natural, so it's okay.
Can you imagine the housekeeper cleaning that room? She probably had tears coming out of her eyes after she cleaned it.
Holes in the bed sheets.
Her mascara's like all running down.
And it was bad. But that makes me think. Before I go into what I was thinking of that night was when we had Italo on the podcast. That is my. It's too bad. It's too bad we didn't bring this up. That is my world record most disturbing. I should be in the ER story in terms of like farts of all time, dude. I am not exaggerating. I shouldn't even be sharing this. This is terrible, but whatever. We had this like condo. We were at South Padre, right? And we were like sleeping in this room. That's kind of a big whatever. All these different beds. It was just me and him in this one room, and I just could not stop farting. And I don't think they're like smelly, horrible, disgusting farts. But my farts are like, they're not like SBD. I would much rather be me with like innocent, just, like fucking a violent burst, but with no like repercussions as opposed to those little sneakers, that melt the paint. Anyway, I probably farted like at least 100 times. Like it was insane. And Damon, it was like, dude, what's wrong? We couldn't stop laughing because it was so absurd. And I'd fart, we'd start laughing, and I'd fart like 8 more times in a row. And then we would just be like, dude, you need to go to the fucking emergency room. Like, this isn't like what's going on. I don't know what was happening, but it was just the craziest goddamn shit ever. Anyway, now that everyone knows that story, everyone meaning no one, don't worry, John. I was referring to the fucking horse video. That sounds terrible. That immediately sounds terrible. This has nothing to do with horse cock, okay? Just
horse fucking. Yeah.
Yeah, no horse fucking. No. But you showed me this fucking video, and it was just grotesque, but I could not stop laughing because it was so fucking like John's the king of finding like horrifically disturbing shit on YouTube and just being like, dude, have you seen this? Like even Guy was like, John's got serious problems. John was like, dude, have you seen the horse pus video? And I'm like, oh. Anyway, there's these vets, and there's this horse with this huge what do you call it, sister boil or something?
Yeah.
And they're, what do you call it, lance? What do you call the lacerating? What is the word? I'm
lancing.
I think lancing.
Lancing this boil, and this horse is just standing there, and he's just kind of like, and they just keep squeezing, and it's just gallons of this pus just keeps, and then you're just like, I can't believe it, and you think it's done, and then it just keeps going. Like this is probably not the most entertaining podcast material, and like everyone will, if anyone's even made it this far, they'll turn it off at this moment. But I got great enjoyment from that video, strangely enough.
Yeah, I mean, and I forgot that happened the same night. I believe that the fart.
That was probably why. See, that's while we were drinking the beer.
That's right.
Laughing at the horse pus video, and probably got a bunch of things rumbled up and moving around. All that laughter. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
But that was back in who knows, 2011 maybe.
13, I think that was the last time I went to NAMM was 2013.
Who was the company that you went a couple of years with them? What was that company?
It was the IntelliTouch tuners, the original like clip-on tuner company or whatever, but they went under because like I guess so many other companies outproduced them and outpriced them, I guess.
Yeah, certainly not easy business. Very competitive. Obviously, when you go to a NAMM show, you're like, holy Christ.
Right.
Yeah, man. No, that was a lot of fun. I think there was a couple of NAMMs. Jesus Christ, the first time I ever did NAMM, you were there. And you came and sat in and jammed on a Trigon guitar, now that I think about it.
That's right. Was it
2008?
Bathory, or what was the...
Oh, Flash Bathory,
yeah. She was
mm-hmm.
cool.
Yeah, she was the initial attention. Like I was awful at my first Trigon demo. It was so bad. And then me and my brother like went back a couple of years and did better. No, it was bad, dude. I was not prepared. I didn't know it was not, ugh. But she was great though, because she came out and she was like 16 or something, all rock start out, and everyone, like, she would draw a fucking crowd. Like she was great for them when they first started. But And I was just like, oh man, I'm like there in my untied sneakers looking like a bozo. Like I need to step up, come up with some fucking material for this.
Oh man, no, that was fun times. I'd like to go back there sometime. It's a bit much, I guess, for me. Like I'm pretty introverted, so 3 days or 4 or 5, even was it like 4 days if you go all of it? That's like it's a lot.
It is. I got to where like usually I would just go out there and kind of make it a trip where I would see a friend or something in LA, and then I'd just go to the show for like maybe 1 or 2 days. And this last year was the first time I think we went for maybe 4 days, but I actually had some really cool things happening, playing with Gibson and with Bull and playing with Godan again and stuff like that. So but you were like, see, that's the thing too. Like you were pretty intensive. Like you were playing, like I would just do like a demo or a performance, I think I did 3 performances this last time, but you did, or maybe even just 2, but you would play at that booth like all day, right?
Yeah, that's true.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it was quite a bit, especially when there's that many people walking by all the time and your eyes, you're not really looking at your guitar all the time. So you're looking at people that come up and try to talk to you, and then just everyone crossing past you, your eyes are always like focusing on all these people. And after 8 or more hours of that, it's especially with the bright lights, it's like, man, I need to sit down in a dark room for a little bit.
Have some Newcastles and fart. That's
and have some Mexican food and fart on Skunk and show them horse pus videos.
Fond memories, my friend. Fond memories.
But yeah, it's NAMM really is fun. It's just it's a party, so you got to be ready for that.
So do you guys rehearse out at your place these days, or what's like? How does that work with the band now that y'all are playing again?
Well, so we only had 1 rehearsal back so far, and we tried out Space in South Austin, and it was a really
cool Space is cool. Yeah,
they had it like all socially distanced, and it was clean, and yeah, it was fun. But we're going to be rehearsing out here in the future.
So, yeah, that's good to hear. I mean, I think most businesses you kind of have to comply, but I remember going there a few times. Very clean, and it seems like the rooms, they got some like pretty good sized rooms. Just I always kind of forget about that place, but that especially you're out in Dripping Springs, but you're still south, so I guess it makes more sense than Soundcheck or something.
I do. I'm going to say I will miss the band co-op, because that's where Meyvn always rehearsed and Witch Diaries always rehearsed, and.
Is that gone under or what?
Yeah.
Where was that one? Are you talking about South First or what?
No, band co-op was out near Runberg, or what's it? Is it? Let me think of that street. Oh man, it's out north, really far north, east Austin, and it was home to quite a few metal bands like Vesperian Sorrow and gosh. I think Head Crusher used to play there.
Oh, I may actually have been there. Now that I think about it,
it was not nearly as clean or nice. It was like the back room of rehearsal studios.
But it was a pretty big place, right?
Oh yeah, they had multiple buildings.
Yeah, I did go up there. I think I just did a one-off for her. I think I rehearsed. I could be totally wrong, but we had Scott Blanco from Finite Fidelity on here recently, and I think I rehearsed a song up there with them for the first Skunk Fest. Nice. Did you? You didn't play that one, right? You just played with AGR on the last one, right?
Right.
Skunk Fest.
Yep. But yeah, I do. That place went under. I think some rich company bought the entire Brown Lane, which is it's on, and they just bought out the whole thing. So it had been around since like 1990 or 92.
Now I'm Brown Lane shit.
So if you go up I-35 north.
Yeah, I now I'm just sort of like, we don't need to spend time on this, but there's a couple of different places I'm thinking of that I've rehearsed up there now, but one way or another I'd probably see it. Yeah, it's too bad. Like when those kind of, what you were saying, how long it had been open?
Yeah, I think it was about 30 years, and you know this as well as I. Rehearsal is really most of the fun of being in a band. It's the sharing the time with the bandmates and goofing around and talking like we're talking, and playing music. And the gig is kind of more of icing on the cake. So I think I enjoy rehearsing actually more than I actually enjoy playing a show.
Yeah, that's how you know when your band is in a good place. If your rehearsals are fun, and if your rehearsals aren't, that right there, I think tells you everything you need to know. If you look forward to rehearsing and you have a good time, things are, and if you're like, fuck, I don't want to do this,
Yeah.
that's when it's like I need to make some changes. But you're right, because it can be an absolute blast. And same with like touring, man. Like it's something I never did forever, and I just never had my ducks in a row and put myself in the right place, and finally got some opportunities. And I love that, because obviously I can just sit around and talk like an asshole for hours on end. When you're in a rehearsal space, and you're just shooting the shit and being vulgar with each other. Same thing on tour. I think it's just like it's all like it's kind of hard work, and you're packed in. It's it's not like the most comfortable situation, but it's like that. There's a kind of a fun about that.
Yeah, that's one thing I've never done that I think would be fun at some point in my life, is to tour. And maybe when I'm more financially stable, even more so than I am now, it'd be cool to tour with Witch Diaries or something. Like, I know RuneScar's gone on some tours, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of my friends, Southern Front.
Oh yeah, well Peyton, it's Peyton from Southern Front is in, way back.
Yeah. Drummer. So that would be a lot of fun. Meyvn played Prog Power Europe in 2007. That was like one of the highlights of my life. So it wasn't really a tour; it was one show.
That's amazing, though, man. Was that in Germany? Where was that at?
It was in Barlo in the Netherlands or Holland. So my buddy Joe, his girlfriend Alicia, and I, he was the keyboard player. We flew in 10 days early and went to we landed in Paris. Then we went straight on a train to Belgium, to Bruges, and that is the coolest town I've ever seen. Santa Fe is pretty cool. I love New Mexico, but man, Bruges in Belgium is windmills and rolling green hills, amazing beer. I mean, castles, and just it's such a fun place. So we had a great time, and played that one show. But that was as close as I got to the touring, like rock star.
It's cool though, because when you haven't done whatever, someone else has kind of done something that you haven't, right? That's like a cool thing that you're like. So I remember for me seeing like when you guys did that, I was like, wow, that's fucking awesome, man. I remember way back when we had Dan Welby, the drummer from Hostile Groove, which was the band my brother was in way back when we were in LA. And I remember when they toured way back, and I was just like, oh man, like he was like, they were like rock stars in my mind. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just like I think a lot of times when you do that and you're just like, wow, this is this one experience I'm having, and maybe it's amazing or not. I think but a lot of times in someone else's eyes, especially your peers, they're just like, wow, that's fucking awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And I've had some of my friends, like let's see, the guy you subbed for me at 26 Music once or twice. I can't remember when I had to leave. And the guy that got me the job there, his name's Zach Loy. And he's played with some pretty big names now. Like he's played ACL quite a few times. I'm like, man, that's pretty cool. Even though like I'll be honest, I've never been to an ACL. I feel bad saying that, but it's just not my thing. I don't like thousands and thousands of people.
To play. Yeah. What's weird about being a musician, I think, is not that I don't still enjoy concerts. Of course I do. And I can get really inspired from them. But there are moments, and I think with big festivals like that, sometimes where I am actually almost uncomfortable, and I'm just like, man, I want to be one of the performers. Like, I don't want to stand here all day and watching all these other bands, and up and coming. It's like, I want to be on the fucking stage.
I think like psychologically for most people that, and I hope I'm not offending anyone, but psychologically, I feel from what I've viewed that most people that go to ACL and huge events like that, it's not so much about the music. It's about being able to say that they saw such and such band and that they are seen in front of their peers at this event.
Oh yeah. Especially in the narcissistic Instagram age we live in, where it's like, look at me, look what I'm doing.
Now, I'm at
ACL. I love black people. You know what I mean? Like, I love this. Look at me. There was this thing about I've seen Jimmy Kimmel do this thing where I think it was Jimmy Kimmel, where they did, this is awesome, when they go out on Hollywood Boulevard and they interview people about what something that had come to town, and they're like, and they just make up band names, and they're like, oh, so are you excited about seeing? Oh yeah, they're one of my, and they're just like total bullshit. And you get these fucking hipsters like, oh yeah, man, I was into them way back,
I think
there's definitely going to be that demographic of just the frat boys that, want to go drink and people, and that's fine too. Like there's nothing wrong with that, and some people really do go for the bands, and God knows there's some amazing bands and performances. It's pretty awesome. I've been a couple of times. ACL is definitely exhausting though. It's fucking exhausting, man. Speaking of like doing NAMM for 4 days, I feel like is less exhausting than 2 days of ACL. Like ACL is, it'll wear you the fuck out, man.
It's a young person's game.
Yeah, it's a young person's game. I mean, I'm glad the times that I did go relatively soon after I moved here. I went in the year that Tom Petty and Muse played, and that was amazing.
Nice.
And I saw the Chili Peppers, which I'm not a huge Chili Peppers fan in terms of their modern stuff usually, but they're great. I mean, Flea and,
oh yeah,
fucking phenomenal live. They were great. I could throw a couple other bands under the bus, but I guess I won't. Although we usually do like stomp on someone every show. It was really funny, dude. You know Chris DeVore, right, John?
Yeah. You guys did a podcast.
Did you play? Did you ever play with him? Did you do a couple of those little gigs with him at Taj Mahal or whatever? Right? Yeah. Man, I've known Chris a long time, and it's pretty funny because I know he's opinionated on certain things. And at the end of the podcast, we all agreed on, and we started railing on Green Day, which was fun. We all agreed on that one. And then at the end of the podcast, he just got completely out of line and started saying Alice in Chains was a terrible band, and that's when he cut off his podcast and never
cut off his mic.
Yeah, just cut off his mic. He didn't say mic.
Oh,
but there was this one part in the podcast, right, where we were talking about Eric Johnson, and I just started just getting all on Eric Johnson's nuts and be like, it's so great. And then Chris was like, but I hate Eric Johnson's songs. And he just starts railing on poor fucking Eric Johnson.
Oh, no.
Who's like the sweetest man in the universe. Oh, I actually mentioned on that podcast when we all worked over at Strum, everybody used to see him, but I never. Did you ever run into him? He used to always be around there. I guess he had a studio over there or some shit.
Man, I'm always been a huge fan of him since I was like 13, and I was the only person that never got to meet him because he's always there getting coffee, and I'm not a coffee drinker.
Oh, you weren't over
Starbucks that was right next to the school. That's right.
Yeah.
How long did you teach over there for?
See, you got me the job there in 2008, and I quit in 2013.
Woo! Yikes!
Yeah, it was
a long run over there.
Long hauler.
Well, and then Rachel worked over there, and Rachel was still working there when Lone Star bought him out. So she's still work. I guess she still work for Lone Star.
No, I think she quit 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Jesus. Okay. Well, I guess that didn't go well.
She's been working she switched to Costco because it was more stable.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, that location, and don't quote me on this, but that location may not even be there anymore. I think they were having a harder time getting, and when back when we were there and they opened up spent all that money opening up another fucking room that never even got used. Because it ended up splitting what once was a big room and had two. So I think for whatever reason, I think it was kind of hard to get the clientele over there that they would have liked. But I don't know. I've only been over there a few times since.
I love that building. That was a fun time. And, Guitar Hero was out around that time when you got me the job there. And I was actually working at a bank doing IT at the time. And man, all the banks were going under in 2008, of course. So I saw people dropping left and right, people getting fired. And I was like, and I was doing the work of like 5 people at my job. And I was like, I talked to you and I was like, man, is there still like a position for a guitar teacher? You're like, yeah. So
that's what was cool about that place is like, I was like one of the first 5 instructors, and then I just brought in all my friends.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, that was the thing is like, we had this neurotic boss and it was kind of ridiculous, but man, I met a lot of great people there who are now friends like Zoe and other people. And we all worked there. So we were talking about this too, a few times about how we would work there. And then, since we all knew each other and if we had shit students, we'd just be like in the back copier room, just like talking shit on somebody and be like, all right, cool. I guess it's been 10 minutes. I guess I'll go back to this bullshit ass lesson.
I'll never forget Daryl. He'd go back there when he'd had a break and he'd lift the copy machine up and press print and just black.
Dude, yes. And the reason why is because the owner was just so fucking right. All the stories, you can verify all the AC neurosis, the gotta stay on 101X, all this insane micromanaging bullshit to save a few pennies, charging his, instructors for water, like insanity. Right.
Yeah.
And so that's why, I mean, that's hilarious because people were like, you know what, go fuck yourself. Because he would be like, yeah, I'll keep it on the lowest setting of the toner so we can save time. So then he's back there like, fuck you, motherfucker. I'll have a free water while I'm at it.
Yeah, we still have some of his notes on our refrigerator with a magnet. Like,
brilliant. Yeah.
But
yeah,
I
man,
will say,
if you did anything wrong, if you touched the AC, you did anything. You got not a full piece of paper either. He would write stuff out and then tear you got a piece of paper on your chair, you got a text, you got a voicemail, just like, yeah. I remember, man, we were all just like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, look, the boss is crazy as fuck, but this is still kind of a fun job. So
totally. I'm glad on the positive side, I'm glad he gave me the job because it really changed my life.
No, it's true. I mean, I will say that, and I'll talk a bunch of shit about the guy, but I don't like arrogant people. I don't like. I mean, that's one of my biggest pet peeves ever. I mean, I hope I don't come off like that. Anyone that knows me knows I'm not like that. But the whole there's the word arrogance, and there's another word that I'm not getting right now. But I just don't like, and condescending, and I just don't like that in a character. And so that was my biggest beef with him. He was annoying as a micromanager, but he gave me the job. In the beginning was cool. He had a trick where he gave you a quick raise, so you were like, "Oh, cool." But then after a while, you're like, "Bro, I'm doing all this fucking shit." Like, and then it was just weird, man. It's like, dude, all you got to do is just chill the fuck out, not be so uptight, and just treat people with respect. Like, that's another thing. I do not like people that throw around those little slight, And I remember one time we got into something and he was like, because actually my fucking, I forget if it was when my car got broken into and I had gear and shit stolen. But at one point he actually lent me $500, or he paid me in advance. I still paid it back, but so, I mean, he wasn't like a total monster in that sense, but I was just like, bro, just take your douche from 10 to like 5 and we're cool, man, but because like that douche wrote at a 9.5, man. He just couldn't. Remember when he would always be like, check out her ass. He'd be like, yeah, I fucked you. One of those guys. Like, oh, okay. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing.
We actually saw that one night we went out and he was with us.
When we were at the show that we played with him, the other chick that played after him, who was like an attractive singer-songwriter, whatever the fuck the band was. And he was like, yeah, man, she's got a pretty nice ass. Not as nice as so-and-so that I'm fucked.
Well, no, there was another time we were downtown and he ran into some girl and he was like, yeah, she was one of my students or something like that. He was like real creepy about it. I was like, dude.
What got me, right? I had, when I was in my late 20s then, and like immediately, like the piano person quit. Dude, remember Andrew Moorhead? Remember that guy?
Oh yeah,
he's a fucking animal. Like, he was the kind of guy. I think he used to play at Elephant Room with Carter and all. I mean, he was like guru status, right?
Oh yeah,
one of those like freaks. It's a mathematical genius, which goes hand in hand with being a great musician, and like just totally next level.
By the way, that's what he went into. He
went into mathematics. Yeah,
like PhD or something.
And that guy could play any of us under the table. I mean, that guy's just. I remember he had a book. That I may still have that I bought. Anyway, there was something about he had a book of ragtime stuff, or maybe I let him borrow it. That's what it was. And he was like, he learned like a rag, right? Maple leaf rag, or it was probably something not less known. But he was like, oh yeah, I transcribed this to a minor key. Like, I can't even play it. Like I'm like E flat, like, and he's just like sight reading it. Oh, let me put it in a minor key for fun, like just absurd. But I think, to have a guy of that caliber sitting, I mean, it's insulting to all of us, honestly, but to have someone like of that caliber sitting there and you got a little girl like going, and he's like, okay. And he was just too good for his own, because he would be like, oh, yeah, close your eyes and hit a note in the spiritual eye of the universe. I mean, not really like that hippie, but he was just so like advanced that he couldn't even dumb it down. And he'd be like something, and then some little girl's just like, I don't know, this is fucking amazing musical genius walks out of the room one time and he just walks in the library. He's just like, I just got called a pee-pee poo-poo head. And you're just like, so fucking insulting. It's some little bratty fucking kid. So he didn't last long. So I took over the piano teaching, and I got this girl who worked at that Harmony Massage, or whatever the hell the massage place was over there.
Oh, right next door, right?
Right next door.
That's right.
And so she comes in there, and and I've got lessons with her, and he comes in, he's like, hey man, you remember all this stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hey man, this guy's real cute new piano student, like kind of young, cute, and I just like keep it professional, like don't like. I'm like, okay, like yeah, because like when my student comes in, I'm just like, so this is a G chord, want to fuck, like I'm just like, dude, like no, I'm gonna be fucking professional. And then like 5 minutes later, I find out that he's trading vocal lessons for massages, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, like. That guy. By the way, so when that school sold and Lone Star took it over, we found like one of the greatest things of all time, and I've got it printed up somewhere. I don't know where the hell it is. It's a song he wrote that was on his computer, like right there on the office computer. Anybody could have just gone on the desktop and pulled up, and it was called "Fuck Buddy," and it's however good you think it is, it's better. Like it's just. I gotta find it and send it to you, man. It's one of the funniest fucking things I've ever heard in my seen in my life. Like, what you would like
to cover it.
Yeah, I really think it's like a joke, but you're like, no, I really think that this guy probably was like, that's
like he thought it was the greatest song in the world. I remember you mentioned that I think when we were talking at that Kick Butt Coffee show, and I was like, man, I gotta see this or hear this song.
Yeah. Damn it. I should post the Fuck Buddy lyrics on our podcast.
It's going to be the next Al Green, man. Yeah.
I don't know why we aren't getting any listeners, Vic. I don't get it. Why is no one listening? Anyway, well, shit, man. Vic had the great idea for having Glazer Awards every, and they never really took off. The first few podcasts, we were like, "So, who do you think's the biggest douchebag right now?" And people would be like, "Huh? What?
Yeah, what?"
So it didn't really take. But that was like an idea of like a monthly douche awards. But what I think I'm finding is usually, minus maybe Chris DeVore, who hates Eric Johnson and Alice in Chains, I just do all the shit talking, and everyone else is like, "I don't want to offend anybody because I'm smart."
Well,
so who's the biggest douchebag right now, John?
Oh my God. Oh,
that cyst on the horse's ass.
Yeah, probably. I better play that part of I don't want to offend anyone.
You're doing so well.
That poor housekeeper that cleaned up that room after you guys farted in it's probably going to hear this podcast, and she's like, "Those are the guys."
Right? Yeah, she's lifelong vendetta to come.
Yeah, she's going to be she'll be in Austin, Texas, looking for us. She's going to in fucking Dripping Springs.
Man, I'll have to get back to you on that one. It catches me off guard. I stay out of politics, and
well, that's a no-brainer answer right now. Basically, I mean, it's just everything in the political arena is just a big pile of douche. So it's kind of easy out. Oh, man, I got fucking bubble guts again, dude.
Uh-oh.
I keep drinking on these podcasts, and then I'm just rumbling away over here.
Dude, let them rip.
That's why I keep muting. See, I just muted myself here. If I was gonna do if you'll know if I'm farting on a podcast, it'll look like this.
Well, man, I will tell you, before COVID, I think you were busy. I want to say I invited you out, but you had a gig going on, but we had a little fart party, and
I'm so sorry I missed it.
So Rachel made beans, and then I think it was like me. Only a few people came. It was me, Rachel, our friend Jennifer, and Jeremy, and then Liz Morphus, who is Rachel's singer and Pretty's for You. And anyway, we set up the microphone in the other side of the studio, right at ass height, and then we played different tracks, and let flatulence take over. So Rachel won, though. It was she calls it the fartpeggio, and it's a pretty amazing 6-note minor arpeggio, because we had to slow it down and analyze.
So y'all actually did that thing. Remember, there's that kind of somewhat, I guess, within the nerdy guitar community. I'm pretty sure Guy probably sent it to me for a while. There was something going around where there was a video where a guy did a fart and he analyzed the fart, and he was like, "Okay, listen, it's a major 7 chord," and he slowed it down and then you could hear the tones arpeggiate a major 7 chord. So basically, you guys actually did that and analyzed your farts, is what you're saying.
Yes, and and we put it over a track too, so it was just kind of fun, drunken, stupid shit, really.
Is that something you can purchase? Because it actually sounds like something that would sell. I'm not even joking. I think if you have a track of musical farts.
Oh, dude, you should look up Fart Klops. He's been around a long time.
I'm so behind. I just so like not hip.
Oh man,
haven't you heard of Fart Klops at ACL?
Yeah. The Grammy winners. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's some guy that he takes like Beethoven and all kinds of stuff, and it's literally every note is a fart, but it's at the right pitch. So
basically, I'm assuming he has a sample bank of farts, or maybe he cheats and pitch shifts his farts, and then he just arranges his farts in a way to. Well, we did that with. We actually made a video, and I posted it on our site a while back because it was just no content and it was COVID, and who cares? But the whole guy thing where he farts. You can do the hand farting, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
It's crazy, and you can like fart out fucking Mozart and all that kind of stuff.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, we've pretty much come to where I expected this podcast to go. Farts, flatulence, bodily function.
Of course, I'm on the show, so that's naturally.
I'm amazed we actually got some productive conversation in first. That was congratulations to us, I say.
Yeah. No, that was fun. Thank you for having me.
Would it be too much to ask for the famous burrito town lake story?
Oh, no, I can give that one.
I mean, this is one of my all-time favorite stories.
It's a little better than the subway in Rhode Island story.
Dude, honestly, like these are two of my all-time favorite stories. So feel free to tell either one, no pressure.
Yeah, and I have to say before I tell this, I want to hear at some point the McDonald's story again from Guy.
Oh Jesus, that's good. I got to get Guy on the podcast, dude. I will be fucking crying with this motherfucking bullshit stories. I mean, they're great. Well, that was like a guy from a somewhat famous band too. Like it's pretty fucking funny. So, anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so I won't go into too much detail, but some detail. So basically, what happened was this was before I worked at Strum. I was working at that bank doing IT, and there was a lot of older ladies there, really sweet ladies that would always bake cakes and bring all this stuff to work. And, I was like 23 then, maybe. I was always jogging around Town Lake 5 days a week. I was fairly fit at that point, except when I started working there and eating all this cake. So anyway, they were like, hey, you haven't brought anything ever. Why don't you make something and bring it? I was like, okay. So I love making hot sauce, and I had gotten into pinwheels. And pinwheels, for those that don't know, is cream cheese, serrano, jalapeno, garlic, onion, basically a hot sauce recipe mixed up in cream cheese, and you whip it. And it's already funny. you smear this cream cheese hot sauce recipe on tortillas, and you roll them up, put them in the fridge, and the next day they're ready to slice. And when you slice them, they look like wagon wheels or pinwheels, hence the name. So I bring this huge bowl of pinwheels to the office, and they're at my desk at my cubicle, and everyone's stopping by and munching on them. And it was a busy day, so that's all I ate all day. And before I knew it, it was already 5 o'clock. And this was in this August or July. It was July. So it was like 105 out. And I was going to do my daily run, 4 miles at Town Lake. So I got off and I was like, I did only eat pinwheels all day. Maybe I should skip today. My other side of my brain's like, nah, you probably should run, you fat ass. So I went down there, parked under Mopac, started jogging. I changed in my car or whatever and started jogging. I get 2 miles into it, which is, of course, the furthest point from my car. And I go over the Congress Bridge, and I'm like, whoa, there's some rumbling going on here. So I'm like, that's all right. It's happened before. I'll walk. And so I just keep walking. I make it across Congress. I come down, and now I'm near the Stevie Ray Vaughan statue. And it's really bad. I mean, like I'm getting weird tastes in my mouth. Like my stomach is literally just churning over and over. And so I have my iPod, and I miss iPods, but I had all my music there, and I sit there and pretend that I'm selecting tracks. There's like hundreds of people just jogging all by me. And I'm sitting there and standing there, I should say. I'm not sitting. I'm clenching so hard because I think at any moment it's going to be a geyser coming spraying out. So I'm like, okay, my saving grace is going to be Taco Cabana at Riverside and Lamar. I can make it there. I can walk. So I spend like 30 minutes walking a quarter mile, and I'd go 5 feet and stop and clench. And then for like 5 minutes, and I walk 5 feet and stop and clench or something like that. And finally, I made it to that little bridge that's there's a railroad track above, and the bridge is just kind of under it. And Taco Cabana is another probably like 100 yards. I couldn't get there. So anyway, I jump off the bridge, pull my pants down in air, and just I just go at it. So I make it. I'm under the bridge. I like spray the whole thing, and I can hear people jogging all above me, and I'm under there, doing my business. And I look out at the lake, and like the whole UT rowing team, all these like cute 20-year-old girls are like rowing by, like looking at me. So I didn't have toilet paper or anything, so I had to walk all the way back, pretty much 2 miles back to my car, just obliterated and feeling very just helpless is the real world. I was helpless. And I got back, and my sister and I were roommates at the time, and I told her the story, and since that day forward, she always like when somehow she's reminded about this, she always sings what's the tune? Let's see. Yeah,
Under the bridge.
Under the bridge downtown. I shit my life away.
Dude, that's one of the greatest fucking shit stories of all time. Thank you so much for coming on here and sharing that. It's been a personal favorite of mine that I've been sharing, and now we hear it straight from the horse's mouth, dude.
Right on, man.
Fucking crying, man. Oh, it's so good, so good.
We'll have to make some new stories someday soon.
I'm sure it won't be hard, man. Just we'll get a jam session going. Just make a bunch of pinwheels and hot sauce and
beans.
Yeah,
and beans.
We'll do a fart album. Oh man. Well, anyway,
beer with a high sugar content too.
Yeah. Oh,
there you go.
Yeah, dude, I actually, man, I one of these days, I think so much of this is going around now. It's like, well, once we get through this and we can actually get around each other in a normal fashion again, I think it'd just be like awesome to have a big get together and have some beers and beans and, maybe under the bridge downtown. Who knows? We'll figure out a place and find a location. But dude, I don't know if there's anything else you want to add or plug, but it's been awesome having you on. Obviously, I know you'll be remembered for your classic shit story, but really, Jon Simpson, everybody, is a fabulous musician. You should check out Diaries, Meyvn, anything else. So there's like, you got several YouTube videos and stuff under Jon Simpson or Jonathan. Where can people find you online?
I guess my YouTube channel is Jon Parker Simpson, and the reason I had to add that is because there's some other dude named Jon Simpson that has like 10 albums, so I had to add my middle name to differentiate. But yeah, you can just search Jon Parker Simpson on YouTube if you want to see what I've been up to.
Yeah, amazing stuff. Cool. And Diaries, I'm really looking forward to you guys coming back out and playing some stuff, and hopefully we'll be able to do some shows together in the future. And
absolutely.
I'll bug you about a good Rogering again at some point, I'm sure. So you'll never be totally out of the woods with that. But
I'm down, man. And if this new mask ends up completely shredding, we'll have to do another unmasking. I'll have to get another one. So
there you go.
What the next one will be. Awesome, man.
Cool. Well, dude, actually, since you got your guitar right there, if you want to play a little diddly for us real quick, we'll sit here and listen to you jam for a few minutes, and then we'll sign off. No pressure.
I heard Chris DeVore. I hope I didn't offend him. I heard Chris DeVore play something really cool a few months ago. It was like, hold on.
Wait, why are we losing audio all of a sudden?
It's probably I'm clipping. Hang on.
Because I hit mute on my thing, and I was like, was that me somehow?
So you know this tune.
What the fuck?
And
That sounds like Green Day.
That's Brain Stew. And I was like, I didn't know he hated.
Wait, are you telling me Chris DeVore is a huge hypocrite and he got caught playing a Green Day song?
Well, that's what I commented, and he never replied. But I really, it was some other song I had never heard before, and it was literally the same Brain Stew song. So I was surprised to hear that he didn't like Green Day, and that makes sense. You know why he didn't enjoy it. But I'll play something. Here's a Witch Diaries thing. Been trying to learn again. Let's see. I'm gonna mess it up. I'm relearning it. Something like that.
I mean, was that in a normal time signature? I think it was.
Yeah,
Do it.
yeah,
I don't know. I'll have to watch that over and over.
It switches to like 6-8 later. But yeah. So
Thank you. Oh man, you know what we should do is share the video of the witch getting the guitar lesson.
Oh yeah.
Should share that. That's a great video. With you and Guy. That was one of my favorite videos, man. Dude, amazing playing. Keep us posted, dude. Good to see you. Looking forward to hanging out at some point. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Woo! All right. I'm gonna go wipe the tears out of my eyes and fart a bunch. All right, everybody. This has been Jon Parker Simpson. Look for him online, Jon Parker Simpson on YouTube, and Witch Diaries or Meyvn. And this has been Skunk and Vic with Eclectic Soundtrax. Until next time, later.